Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again. As spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people, you are a major concern. And I'm constantly coming to you. And I know for those of you who are not interested in what I'm talking about, I'm probably driving you mad. And if you haven't disassociated yourself with the subscription, you're probably going to. But I'm hoping that there are those amongst you who see me as a friend, somebody that you look forward to talking to every day, someone that you feel comfortable, that who is aware of your situation, aware of the problems that you haven't been able to articulate to others that they will understand. And I want you to know that this is my major concern. And so when I see things that take place that gives me a reason to tell you this is why we should change the system. This is why a changed system is so essential and so necessary and so important, and calling on an emergency act is because of the things that's happening. For instance, we have just seen Supreme Court turn back something that's been happening for at least 50 years, I believe, for women, the right to make a decision about their own body, whether they want to bring a life into this world through their womb or not. Most of them do, but for some reasons they don't, and that might be incest or rape or something like this. Well, but the Supreme Court of men made a decision and said that they have to lose that right. The thing that I'm drawing attention to is not just that, which is deplorable itself, but it's the people who are on the court that made the decision. People who came through, and when they were sitting there before the Congress, when they were being queried about who they are, how we can be confident that they will represent according to basic principles that have been established here in the United States of America. And they sat there and say things to you. And then one thing particularly that you ask about might be Roe versus Wade. And these guys, ladies or whatever, will just sit there and tell you what they know you want to hear, and then get into office. And the first opportunity they get to do something different, they do exactly what the person who was trying to get them in office would do: lie. They came in under lying. They came in under breaking some basic principles which had been established, that there would be certain people that could get, if an open was made, a president would have the authority to, or the privilege of recommending someone, would be given to a certain person depending upon time and frame. And each time the party that has supported this liar, Donald Trump, each time the party and the people, the very same people that have supported this demonic figure that we have had in the United States presidency, who we've just found out the other day had a militia that was ready to go and do whatever he wanted. That same Senate that set this man out here, who still will not denounce this man, set it up so these people could go into court and do what they're doing. And now talking about other stuff that they're going to do. I think Clarence Thomas might have to give up his wife because she's white. Black people might have to, I don't know. All of these things we're talking about might have to. Well, this is because, ladies and gentlemen, we're listening to the dictates of men who make decisions about systems, and they can change anytime they get ready. Anytime they get ready. Sometimes it takes a long time, but then it can still be changed. But when you're doing the thing that's proper, you're doing the thing that's righteous, you don't have to worry about that. It will survive time, even if people come along and try to bury it. It'll come back. Well, I heard this man who just couldn't stand it. Cohen. He brought it to my attention that these juries, these justices, should be impeached for lying. I mean, other people sit on the court, tell a lie, what happens? A lot of people don't want to come to the January 6th. They don't want to go through that. For what reason? Because they can't lie. Or if they lie, then something probably is going to happen to them, especially if it's discovered. But what about these justices? What's going to happen? Well, we'll see. Well, one thing they will always be known as, and I'm talking to the justices now, you will always be known as the Trumpers. You will always be known as those who are immoral. you will always be known for that, and I'm sure that that is not what you wanted to be known as, and you're hoping people are going to forget it. I keep thinking about, we just today supposed to be celebrating and excited that they finally got a black woman added to the courts. She, Miss Jackson, I mean, absolutely, after 237 years, I believe, they finally got a black woman on. And that's supposed to mean something. This is supposed to mean something. That means it is something. It's a step forward. But it also is a slap in the face of how retarded we are. Look how long it took for that to happen. Look what's going on. He's right away. They had a guy come on television. I think he's representing some Christian movement or something. And he's talking about what they're going to do. Hey, this is something. Here go a group of people who took people's land away from them, who forced people into slavery, who have kept these people as second-class citizens for 200 and some odd years, who have gone around when these other people trying to advance themselves went back and slaughtered and murdered and destroyed everything they did. Now they're talking about, we want to go back and we're going to take things back. We got the courts together, we got the judges together, we got people in power. Now we can lead you straight to hell and there's nothing you can do about it. That's what they're saying. Well, I'm thinking that, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps maybe you got something to say about that. And when it comes down to life and death, here's the way I look at it. Only God gives life. Only God, as far as I know, gives life. And it is God's prerogative about when life ends, not yours or mine. Now, I know there's some geniuses amongst you who might say, I know there's some geniuses amongst you who might say, but God used mankind to introduce life into this world. Yes, I can't argue with that. God did do that. But it was life coming in. That was God making the decision. When we do it on this side, when we decide that we're going to kill people with guns or war or the things that we kill people, capital punishment for, on Saturday, because we're angry on the streets on Saturday nights, or anyway, that's not God. That's we, the people, taking life without permission. You see, God doesn't give us that duty. That is God's duty. Because I hear you talking about raining down armies from heaven. God doesn't need to rain down an army from heaven. So you just do everything you possibly, people do everything they possibly can to tie God to them. Raining down an army. When all he has to do, when they say somewhere in the book, he sent a wind or something down in Egypt and took people out. I'll open up the sea and then closed it back up with people in it. Magnificent. But now I need you, who made me a slave, who made my people a slave, who made other people, need you to decide when somebody's gonna die. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you one more thing, because I don't want to talk long. See if I can share something with you, and then I'm gonna let it go. As a young man, I wanted to be a movie star. Hollywood was my dream. I was going to Hollywood, and at that time, I think one of the most renowned individuals there recognized was Sidney Poitier. And Sidney Poitier, oh man, to serve with love, I made a couple of marks on me just to tie me to Sidney. And I was going to go to Hollywood. I've been plays and stuff all my life, and I always, for some strange reason, worked out pretty good for me. But when I got out of college and had made that decision to go to Hollywood, I had gotten married. And my wife was doing something else with government. And I couldn't just leave her like that. So I decided to go and spend a few years with her in Chicago. But at the same time, moonlight, doing nightclubs, DJ, try to be in some plays and stuff like that. Keep him active because you love those applause. Make you feel real good, especially when you got a real good role. And I had to make a decision one day. One day I really woke up and I said to myself, there's so much that needs to be done in this America, in this world. I'm just talking to myself now. There's so much that needs to be done now. And I want to play a role in it. What is it I can do? What is the best thing for me to do? And the thing that I had my attention the most was the pain and suffering that people go through who don't have stuff. You know, just put it this way, who didn't have money. Because in America, I guess the rest of the world is the same. Money is the lifeblood of life. If you don't have any money, you can't do a thing. And really, nobody cares. But there are those who care enough. They'll try to do something for you. They'll give you a sandwich. They'll make a shelter for you to spend the night. They will even try to give you some bucks if they got something to help you along your way. Christmas time, they'll try to give your kids. They do these kind of things just because they want you to know that if they could, they would. And you go along, the government doesn't bother that. They don't get upset with that because that makes the government look good. You can do that here. But the things that's necessary to make sure that you don't have to be getting handouts, that stuff is never dealt with. And so I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking something needs to be done. So one of the first things I did, I quit my major job with the Veterans Administration, and I began to put myself in a position so I can focus, so I can think about stuff like this. I mean, I grew up with old people in the South. We always was doing all right. Only time I found out when we weren't doing all right is when I looked in the magazine and saw what white people were doing and all the other stuff that was available. So I'm thinking, what can I do? So I needed to help out. So I quit the job and got a job at a storefront, washing windows and cleaning up after getting ready to close and stuff like that, making chump change. And that wasn't, my ex-wife wasn't going to go for that. Now, here I got to make this move. Do I go to Hollywood or what? And this is what I decided. I haven't seen anybody in Hollywood do the kinds of things that were on my mind. So I decided I was going to do something else. Hollywood wasn't going to restrict me to just a movie screen. I was going to choose my stage as America. Well, really, I said the earth. I was going to let that be my stage. And the script to do the things that I wanted to do, as far as I know, have not been written. So, though I don't know the script, I'm going to write the script daily by responding to my heart. Whatever my heart says in regards to certain situations, that's what I'm going to do. And I've told myself I'm going to be successful. And then I even talked as if I was talking to a spiritual power. And I said, I am not going to, because I know people, I know me, I am not going to accept. Like some people say, well, you can speak. They start giving you a big piece of money for speaking engagements. And you can go places and people pay you for coming in. And I said I was not going to accept that kind of stuff. I was going to always be knowing exactly what it means not to have anything. Knowing what it means to feel the pain. And I was going to be able to let that be my motivation. That's how I'm going to write this script. This is how I'm going to be successful with this new system change. And I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, I really, with all my heart, want to see that. When I had to give up basically everything, and I don't have anything right today. People help me. People do stuff for me, and they get tired, but I don't have anything. But this here dream that you one day will be able to wake up and you'll be happy because you got things to do, and it's a beautiful world. And at night when you go to bed, you're gonna lay on your pillow and you're gonna go to sleep, relaxed, feeling good. Your windows might be open, your doors not locked, and everybody's feeling real good, and everything is all right. And when people go different places, they enjoy being wherever they're at, even if they assemble themselves to talk about God. They can sit there and say how wonderful God is and what they are being used to do and how it's coming back to them. And everybody already knows it. Everybody. This is my dream. Wow. So, if you want to know why I keep writing these posts, it's because time is passing. And it appears as if my time is going to expire before this dream comes true. But I want to write my own story. I don't want anybody telling you what Eddie said or what Eddie was doing. I want to tell you myself. So if you don't read it, look at it now, maybe there'll come a time when you yourselves can see it or hear it coming out of my mouth and not anybody else trying to explain it to you. That's all. I, this is me. I offer no apology. I want to thank you so very much for listening. Until next, goodbye.